Hello everybody and welcome back to Mining Modern. I'm Corbin Hostler and this is Knight Stompy. I've been teasing it for a couple months and finally got a shot to play it. Knight Exemplar, I love this card. Other knights you control get +1/+1, have indestructible, and it's a first striker itself for 3 mana. So as we're seeing some of the matches, this card is just so good because you can gum up the ground so well with indestructible creatures. It's also an instant speed combat trick with Aether Vial to blow them out. Now, so that's sort of the impetus, right? That's the best Knight card we have. But that's not all we've got. Valiant Knight, this is a great one. Right out of M19, it was perfect time to record this. It gives you other knights +1/+1. For 5 mana, you give them double strike. Also pretty good. History of Benalia, Dominaria piece that fits perfectly into this deck. So as you can see, we've got a lot of knights, right? Champion of the Parish, not a knight, but it does get... It triggers off of all the other creatures. Every other creature in the deck is still a human, except for the Gideon token. So it does still trigger. It gets the same +1/+1 in effect. But we get Student of Warfares. Now, level up. It doesn't seem like much, but it can be a 3/3 first striker on turn 2, and that holds off a lot of decks. You'll see when you play against some of the aggressive decks, it's actually pretty good. Dauntless Bodyguard, another Dominaria, another combat trick, instant speed with an Aether Vial, got a lot going for it, and hey, it's a knight. So as you can see, we've got a lot of knights that gum up the ground in a very good way. Benalish Marshal in here as well. Human knight, pump all your creatures. Knight of the White Orchid, you get to steal the play, basically. Get an extra land drop if you're on the draw and your opponent's at land ahead of you on turn 3. Plus, hey, it's a first striking knight. So we see a lot of first strike, a lot of pumping of the powers, with Lord effects. You get indestructible here, you get double strike here, you get to spam out more with Gideon, you get to just make a whole bunch of tokens with History of Benalia, you get Dismembers for removal, and that right there, you have a recipe for dominating the board, as you'll see. Now, what that means is some of the decks that don't care about fighting you on creature battles, they have other plans, right? And that's where Blood Moon comes in to round it out against those decks. You know, if someone's playing, say, a combo deck or Jeskai Control or something, right? And you just happen to slam a Blood Moon when they don't have basics. They might have a plan that's good against all of these creatures that we have, but they don't have a good overlap of plans that are good against Blood Moon. So that's why it's perfect. So onto the sideboard, everybody. And that's where we just... White has the best sideboard cards in Modern. And again, you just get to take those matchups where you want to win on the ground. That's what our deck does. But if their deck wants to win in a different way, well, now we have Leyline to protect ourselves. We have Damping Sphere for Tron and Storm and so on. We have Stony Silence for Affinity or Lantern or what have you. Rest in Peace for the Graveyard decks. Wear Tear, so you've got utility and a couple Mirror Crusaders when we do actually just want something else on the ground. But you get 13 cards in your sideboard dedicated to the matchups that the deck has trouble with. So then you end up with an aggressive deck. We have 10 1-drop creatures plus Aether Vials, and you get a board in this interaction. And yeah, you might have some bad game 1 matchups against decks, but you post-board at least have game against anything in the format. It's a lot of fun. Knight Stompy, everybody. This is Mining Modern. Thank you for watching. Now, let's get to the games and have a lot of fun with this deck. It's going to be great. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to more Mining Modern. I'm Corbin Hostler, and this is Knight Stompy. This hand seems pretty decent. It is going to depend heavily on how good our Blood Moon is, I guess, but looks like it might be a pretty good Blood Moon here. If we're against some sort of, mid-rangey type creature deck or even a control deck sort of thing here, I think we're going to be in a pretty good spot. The Aether Vial is perfect. We get to play out the Windswept Heath and I guess probably do nothing with our Knight Exemplar. Or I'm sorry, our Knight of the White Orchid. Obviously, we're playing Blood Moon and our opponent has a turn 1 mountain, but... Alright, let's see what they're up to. Might just be Burn or something. Alright, there's a Plains for us. That's pretty good. Now the question is, do I want to play the Knight Exemplar for no value? Probably. No, I kind of do want the value given that we have Gideon. I don't know what our opponent's playing. This sets us back. It sets us back 2 points of damage. Or a haste creature if our opponent has one. Maybe I should have just played it. I'm not sure. We'll see what they're up to. Okay, they're playing Hollow One instead. Alright, so our Blood Moons are going to be okay. So we're not actually going to get the value out of it. I should have played it. In fact, our Blood Moon's... Okay, our Blood Moon does actual nothing instead. Just kidding. So what we do have going for us is that our opponent doesn't necessarily... Ooh, I like that. Our opponent doesn't necessarily play a lot of removal. I kind of just want to get the basic planes here. I don't want to deal myself damage, and it doesn't seem like... Alright, so I'm going to play History of Benalia. This Knight Exemplar is going to be good. That's what we're leaning on here. It just depends how much damage we take from our opponent, right? How explosive their draw is. Which almost makes me want to chump block the hollow one now, just because I don't want to die to the Flameweight Phoenixes in the air later. I fetch a basic planes to save us on life there. I don't know if that's correct or not. I should just play the Knight of the White Orchid. It wouldn't have mattered, actually, at all, now that I think about it, because we wouldn't have been able to attack. We would have played it, and our opponent would have played a hollow one. Alright, so there's a Tasker and a Gurmag Angler in the graveyard, and a Lightning Bolt. So I actually don't mind hollow ones. It's kind of the Lightning Bolts and these Phoenixes that scare me more than anything. I think I just have to take this. There's only one Phoenix right now. Our Knight Exemplar is what we're leaning on here. Yeah, I have to take it. No, I don't, actually. But it has Vigilance. So... This is hard. Because the extra... I think I'm going to keep it because I think the extra damage for us is going to matter more. And if our opponent just has removal for Knight Exemplar, it's not going to matter what we do anyways, so we may as well go for the highest upside play here. Land would be pretty sick, actually. Alright, look at that. So now we've got a plan here. And again, our opponent's played all basics, so I'm still just fetching the planes here. I can't take any more damage, but what I can do is play a Gideon and make a Knight. I even get a free attack in here. This is going to work out okay, I think. I don't think this play hurt us. Depends on what's on our opponent's hand. If they have a Lightning Bolt or whatever for a Knight Exemplar, things get pretty ugly, but... If they don't, we actually have a very, very powerful attack next turn. We have Indestructible Knights. We have a Gideon. We're going to We're going to Final Chapter History of Benalia next turn. Okay. Burning Inquiry works for me. They discarded a hollow one. Wow, we drew 3 cards that would have been fine. Well, whatever. Yeah, 3 cards that would have been fine with it. We kept the Blood Moon that we can't play. Sure, why not? Whatever. We get a big attack next turn. Gosh, imagine if we just draw on our Benalish Marshal, though. Wow, looks like our opponent might not have anything here. If all they have is Flameweight Phoenix coming in a Gideon, that's pretty good for us. Oh, they're going to send it at us instead. Okay. Interesting. All right, let's see if we draw something good. Of course not. All right. Are we going to be able to do this? That's the question. I think I fire up Gideon. We have a big attack here. Wow, and this thing actually has First Strike, too. Alright, so if I... Okay, I guess we did it. Alright, well, I was going to say, if I attack with a team, do I actually have lethal? Say my opponent blocks here, and say they double blocked our Knight Exemplar to get it off the table, and then they blocked Gideon, they would take lethal. So yeah, I guess we kind of just had it. Because basically if my opponent can't double block to take Knight off the table, what are they really doing, right? You're just chump blocking at that point since everything's indestructible. Wow. All right, we did it. Okay. Begin sideboarding, please. We took down Hollow One. I don't know if we can do it again, but we did it there. I guess I want this Rest in Peace. Protection from black? Good enough. I mean, it's not great, I guess. I say it's good. It doesn't do anything against Hollow Ones. It doesn't stop Flame Blade Adepts or whatever it is. It doesn't stop the Flame Blade. It's just it's Gurmag Angler and Tasker. And you know what? Sure. I mean, those cards are problems. Now, it seems like the Blood Moons here are pretty bad, so I might just be able to hard cut them. I think this is fine. You know, Damping Sphere is kind of cute, right? Our opponent plays Goblin Lore, and we make their hollow ones cost mana anyways. I'm not going to do that, but especially not on the draw. On the play, it would maybe be more defensible, but I don't think you're supposed to board in Damping Sphere against hollow one. I guess I'm not mulliganing this hand. I don't really know what we're looking for against hollow one. We want to make big creatures, right? We want them to stumble mainly. They didn't. To be fair, though, they actually had a pretty good hand in that last one, and we just had a great hand. Power of Knight Stompy, everybody. But we'll see this hand, though. All right, they mulligan. I'll keep. These Student Warfares are good in a long game, but we've got to make it there. And you know, against hollow one, there's no telling. Deck mulligans pretty well, also. Now, it's possible that Blood Moon is good against them in some situations, but they function mainly off red mana anyways, and they showed that they want basics, have plenty of them. All right, so they put a Bloodghast into play early. I'm sorry, into the graveyard. Well, you know what? Student Warfare is not bad here. It is a reasonable start, given that our opponent didn't have anything scary. Next turn, we get a play 1 and level 1, or play 1 and hold up Dismember, depending on what our opponent does. Then play Benalish Marshal. So these Student Warfares, they take a long time to get going. That's the thing, you know. And I could also, if I really wanted, I guess, just level this one to a 3/3 first striker, and not play the second one. In fact, that might even be better. Especially if our opponent doesn't really have anything besides Bloodghast Beatdown going on. You know, it's one thing if they just Lightning Bolt our Student Warfare and we've wasted a little bit of mana, but having the other as a 1/1 doesn't necessarily do much anyways. Sure. Interesting mountains. Never seen one play with this mountain. Non-full art Almond Catland. Kind of cool. And there's a giant Gurmag Angler, huh? Alright, well, we're back to plan A, which is play this and dismember the heck out of this Gurmag Angler while we can. Well, this can't block, and I'm not blocking, so I'm attacking. Alright, well, I mean, our opponent's big payoff was a Gurmag Angler, and we took care of that. This might not be so bad. I mean, Benalish Marshal next starts building up some power on our side. I mean, our deck takes a little while to get going. Wow, and our opponent just had nothing, huh? And we hit our 4th land to follow up with Gideon. This looks pretty good. Now, the thing about Hollow One is it can turn on a dime, and you go from thinking you're in a good spot to, oh, they just have like 8 power in play now. But you know what? This is fairly tame. They do have a Lightning Bolt, but they're down to 2 cards in hand. And they're going to flashback Faithless Looting. Okay. And let's hope for no hollow ones. They discarded a Burning Inquiry and another Lightning Bolt, huh? And there's a hollow. They have 1 hollow one and no cards in hand. I am more than okay with where this game is at right now. Rest in Peace is nice, but there's no need to run it out now. Now when we can just play Gideon. Make a Knight. Now, I mean, we just, if we can fade, our opponent doesn't even have any gas in their graveyard. If they just hit land off the top here, or like a whole bunch of stuff that's bad, you know, another Bloodghast or a hollow one or whatever, things look pretty good for us. And they're thinking about their attacks here. I'll obviously just throw this Knight Ally away. They're sending the hollow one in the Bloodghast at me, huh? I mean, I can understand that. It gives the Bloodghast haste when it comes back later, but I'm just gonna chump block the hollow one here and just try to keep this Gideon going, because if we hit land and we play Benalish Marshal plus Rest in Peace, well, now we're really actually turning off quite a bit of our opponent's deck. We didn't hit the land. Also, I just have 11 damage in play. That's a thing. I think I play the... I guess it's the same no matter what I do here. I'm going to play the Knight Exemplar. I think. It does the same amount this turn. And I might even keep one of these back. I don't know. What if I play Benalish Marshal? I don't have lethal no matter what I do. I think I'm going to play the Benalish Marshal. I changed my mind. Because if they are sitting on Bolt or whatever, I'm fine with them bolting this. And then we'll have Knight Exemplar after that. And the question is whether or not I get aggressive with Gideon here or not. And I don't think that I do. I think given what our opponent's board is, they have no evasion, whatever. If we just keep spitting out creatures, we're going to be in a fine spot. I get in for 4, put my opponent down to 9. Now, this is fine because I have the same... I have perfectly reason. We did it! We did it! They did it! Oh my gosh! That was incredible! We beat Hollow One! With Tribal Knights, everybody! We did it! Well, that was going to be a nice turn. Gideon was very powerful. Jeez, look at that. Student of Warfare, everyone, it beats down. The thing is, you think about it, we actually, unless they have a very aggressive start, our deck actually poses a lot of problems for them. Putting tokens onto the battlefield with Gideon every turn, that basically, answers a Hollow One or a Gurmag Angler. We had a Dismember. The first strike from the rest of our creatures answers sort of the rest of their board, and if they don't just overrun us very quickly, Knight Exemplar and First Strike and just these growing creatures, they just get bigger than Hollow Ones. It works. The evasion can be a problem. It's obviously Hollow One is a great deck, but you know what? We got there with Tribal Knights. That was awesome. Thank you for watching, everyone. That was great. I'm Corbin Hostler. This is Mining Modern. Woo! That was great. Thanks for watching. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Mining Modern. I'm Corbin Hostler. Here we go with some Knight Stompy, everybody. I've been teasing it for a while, and you know what? There's a lot of fun cards in this deck. Knight Exemplar, Knight of the White Orchid, Champion of the Parish, Human Knight. Oh, I'm just kidding. It's a soldier. But that's fine. It triggers off everything else. This is the only non-Knight creature we're playing in the deck is this Champion of the Parish. Everything else is a Knight, and they're all humans as well, so they grow the Knight. There's so much overlap between the humans and the Knights and the soldiers. I just want some creature that brings it all together so I can play all of them. All of them in Modern. No, but this deck's a lot of fun. Knight Exemplar. Sorry. My opponent said, it sucks you lost the finals of the Standard Super League. The Spice Girls thing was A+. So in case you don't know, my team, the Brew Crew, myself, Todd Stevens, and Saffron Olive, we made it all the way to the finals of the Standard Super League where we had to play against the best Standard players in the world. Team Genesis, Brian Brown-Dewin, Seth Manfield, Corey Baumeister, Brad Nelson, right? You might have heard of them. They're pretty good at Magic. So we know we have an uphill battle, but hey, we already are in the finals. It was already a free roll for us, right? So what we decided to do was go with the meme decks again in the finals. All Spice Girls decks, ginger, sporty, posh, scary, whatever they all are. I'm not really a Spice Girls fan. But either way, it was a lot of fun. So that's what we did in the finals. And you know what? We took 2 games off of them. They had a couple pretty lucky top decks. Certainly lucky against Todd in one of the matches to win. Otherwise, it could have been totally different. But we had a lot of fun. We got second place in the Standard Super League. It was great. Loved it. All right, so here we go here. If our opponent's on Ad Nauseam, which is what I assume with Temple of Deceit, that's pretty bad for us, to be honest. But let's go ahead and just do what we can do here and try to deal him a bunch of damage. We'll put the Champion of the Parish in play. And we're not going to get value off this Knight of the White Orchid, but that's fine. We might get value off the second one. But it will grow the Champion of the Parish, and that's what we want to do. Now, if our opponent is on Ad Nauseam, drawing 2 of the 3 dismembers in the deck is pretty unlucky. Yep, and that is what it seems to be. So we're just going to hope to do a bunch of damage very quickly here. Well, and that's the thing to know about this, too, is that it's just going to be a race. Like, our opponent is not going to do too much to interact with us. They're just going to be trying to get to their combo. They don't seem to have a great combo hand, at least as far as I can tell here. They didn't have a Lotus Bloom suspended. They didn't have a turn 2 Pentad Prism to store some mana or whatever. And they could have a Phyrexian Unlife here, which would be pretty annoying. But They do. Okay. So we might just be dead next turn. Certainly possible against that deck. But we also could draw some pretty good stuff here. I don't know about our matchup with them. It actually seems like our matchup is probably just fine against this deck. We can Blood Moon him in game 1 or just kill him very quickly. After sideboard, we get Damping Spheres and Leylines and all kinds of good stuff. So this puts our opponent down to 7. I mean, yeah, we could still easily die. All right, so we're not dying this turn, I think. Here's a Pentad Prism. We are likely dead next turn, though. I don't really think we have anything we can get here. Oh, which one is this? This one, no. This one, yes. Well, it's certainly very good. The problem here is the way Phyrexian Unlife works is this doesn't actually put our opponent to 0 and then start doing damage. It puts them to, you know, negative life or 0 life or whatever. But now our next attack will deal them infect damage. So we have them dead next turn. Unfortunately, I'm going to hazard a guess that we're going to die this turn. If this is ad nauseam, we lose. It is ad nauseam, we do lose. Okay. Gosh, so close. All right, well, sideboarding gear, we have a lot of cards for this. I think the Leylines are good. Well, maybe. They stop the Lightning Storm. But we kind of want to interact with them before they do that, because once they draw their deck, it makes them have more mana, though. All right, I'll try it. The thing is, Damping Sphere and Stony Silence are also good, and so is Wear and Tear is a little worse. All right, so we're obviously starting off with a lot here, but let's see what we can do. We definitely don't need the Dismembers. I mean, they might board into creatures, but we don't need the Gideons. We probably don't need the Valiant Knight. We just want to be low to the ground. So a lot of 3. Do we really want this? We can shatter some of their stuff. Oh, well, you know what? We can get the Phyrexian Unlife too. Yeah, we definitely want these. The Leylines are, I think, where we're gonna need to cut some here. We want to stop them from comboing more than trying to fight them once they combo, because once they draw their entire deck with ad nauseam, because you lose life with ad nauseam, but if you don't lose for having 0 or less life, it doesn't really matter, and that's what happened. That's how they kill you. So, all right, our Knight Exemplars also. I mean, they don't seem terrible, but because our opponent could be boarding in Supreme Verdicts, the ad nauseam deck actually has like 6 different ways that they sideboard. Sometimes they sideboard into things like Dragon Lord Dromoka, which I won't lie would be pretty good against us, but I'm not keeping in Dismembers just in case that happens. We'll try to race it. I can cut a History of Benalia. It's a little slower here. And maybe the other history? No, I'm going to cut another Leyline. I'll free roll the one Leyline because why not? But, alright, let's... Damping Sphere is very good against their deck. So is Wear Tear. So are lands, though, and we don't have any of those. And you know what? Stony Silence is pretty good against their deck, too. I mean, we actually have a ton for the matchup. I mean, this... Well, I mean, here it is, I guess. I can't mulligan this. Another Wear... I'm actually going to bottom that Wear Tear. Blood Moon's good against them, too. I mean, like, our entire deck is actually pretty good against their deck. I'd go so... I mean, game 1 feels pretty bad unless we have Blood Moon, but I would almost go so far as to say that we're actually favored in the matchup. I mean, these post-board games are way in our favor. Now, we've had a bad hand here. We had a mulligan, and we have... I say a bad hand. It depends how it draws out here. We basically want exactly what we have, but with at least a creature to attack, and without that, things look a lot worse. But we will get a Blood Moon them. If we were going to hit a land, hitting that fetch land there certainly wasn't the worst. Now, we do have the anti-synergy of the Stony Silence and the Aether Vials here, but it's fine. I mean, and maybe I can make it different, but... And on... I don't know. Maybe on the play I should have done that, but on the draw, I think we just have to try to kill him. And Aether Vial makes that happen. And you don't have to have this on turn 2. You can get value out of your Vials in turns, 2 and 3, and then play this on turn 4 before they go off. Alright, so... I could play Champion of the Parish here, but I'm not. I'm just going to Blood Moon them. Alright, this is a lot of hate they've got to fight through already, and this doesn't even take into account the wear tear we have. They just scooped. Like I said, it's a lot of hate for them to fight through. Our hand wasn't going anywhere either. This would have been the loneliest Champion of the Parish. Oh, man. But yeah, so there you go. They can't activate their... The thing is, though, that is a hard scoop for them, because with Stony Silence in play, they can't activate their artifacts to give them colored mana. They're good at Lotuses or their Pentad Prisms. And with Blood Moon in play, they can't get any mana to put into those things to be able to use whatever bounce spells or whatever that they have. So they actually had nothing but red mana and no way to do anything. I guess they could have put one counter on a Pentad Prism and then tried to have an answer to it. But as you can see, that was pretty good. All right, so we're back on the draw this time around. I still think we just have to play the Vials because we just need to be fast. Well, maybe we don't in the sideboard games. Maybe in the sideboard games we're going to load up on so much hate that being fast isn't what we want. I'm willing to buy that. You know what? Yeah, I'm willing to take that that line here, that it's not about... I think Mirror Crusader is probably better than History. In fact, both of them are probably... Well, History puts more power than Knight Exemplar, I think. I think maybe we do it like this. It's a lot of 3-drops, that is the problem. But Mirror Crusader just hits for 4 already. I think that's better. Yeah, I think we just want to load up on hate this game so that they actually can't play Magic. We're just sort of a hate bears deck at this point. Which makes this hand really awkward because, I mean, hey, this hand's kind of sweet, right? But it's actually not if you think about it. It just doesn't have a play until turn 3. Well, yeah, that's how it goes. Yeah. Yeah, we might not get to play Magic here. I don't know. I don't think we're supposed to keep... I think it's... I'm one of those people who hates mulliganing because that's what always happens, right? At least that's... I know that's results-oriented thinking. That's how it feels, is that you have... It feels to me if you ever mulligan an iffy 7... you just always get an unplayable 6, right? Because the idea is if your 7 is iffy, that's fine. You go to 6, and your 6 can be better. But it's probably not going to be much worse, right? If your 7 was already iffy. But it just seems you always end up getting an unplayable 6, and then you go down to 5. Now, that's a rant out of the way. That's not how it actually works. You should not be scared to mulligan. And as you can see, we've actually drawn pretty well here out of this. We're going to get a Blood Moon our opponent next turn. Which might not matter, but we will get to do it. Alright, well, we get to play out the other Student of Warfare, get in here. Hitting lands off the top was pretty good. I mean, it's all we could ask for, really. Now, we get a Blood Moon our opponent. Now, the issue for us is that our opponent will have colored mana. So we're far from out of the woods here. We need another piece of hate, I would say. I'm going to go ahead and attack first. I don't think it matters, but... Sure would have taken a Stony Silence into a Blood Moon draw here, but you know what? Just landing Blood Moon... We mulled to 5. There's only so much you can ask for on a mulligan to 5, and I think that having the Blood Moon is about as much as we can do. Now, our opponent didn't do any... Alright, it resolved. I guess I kind of hosed myself that I can't cast as Benalish Marshal, but... such is life. I think if we didn't get the Blood Moon down, we could just be dead. So they could just Angel's Grace and ad nauseam us. So yeah, given the choice between dying and being a little better with our mana, and now look, we can play Knight of the White Orchid and get the land back. Alright, we even get to put this thing to a 3, so we get to get in for 4 damage this turn. And this is where you can see, remember I said something about Dragon Lord Dramoka? Our opponent can just, they can't, because they actually only have red and one color of mana, but if they just played it, it would be pretty good. All right, does Benalish Marshal mean lethal? It doesn't, certainly. We have currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, why not? Our opponent's pretty clearly, I mean, I say that. There's so many things could be going on right now. Our opponent could be just drowning, looking for something to do with our Blood Moon, or they could just be willing to bounce our Blood Moon at the end of step and win. So we could die here. Yeah, looks like at least it's not immediately obvious to our opponent. Now, the thing is, it depends what they have, right? They could crack the Lotus Bloom for, say, 3 blue. Use 2 of it to Echoing Truth the Blood Moon. That leaves them with 6 mana, which is enough to Angel's Grace and Ad Nauseam and kill us. So we'll see. My opponent says they made a bad move with the Scry in chat. So does that mean maybe they bottomed a basic land? I think we might have got there. Usually once your opponent starts typing, then that's a good thing. Because it means they're not thinking about how they're going to kill you. All right, here we go. 3 black mana, though. Here comes Ad Nauseam. They're just going to kill themselves in style? Red mana, red mana. Okay. 5 mana. Ad Nauseam, I assume. 6 mana. What's happening? Okay, they're going to cast Ad Nauseam. Let's see if they kill themselves. They have no way to not die to this. Serum Vision, sure. I don't know what they're actually looking for. They're digging pretty deep here, though. Bantu's Last Reckoning to lose. All right. That was something, though. That was a really close match. We mulliganed to 5 there. Our opponent shows us their hand. So, they had Phyrexian Unlives. I don't remember what lands they have. Did they have 3 untapped? I think they had 3 untapped mana. I think maybe they... It's hard to know. Or maybe they've drawn it the last 2 turns. I don't remember. It's possible they had a tap land that turn on turn 3, or it's possible they didn't cast anything else. Huh. Okay, well, either way, we got there. We did it, everybody. Knight Stompy taking it down. The power of Blood Moon is a perfect foil. See, it actually kind of works, right? Because the thing about the Knight deck is it's very good at gumming up the ground with strong, individually powerful creatures, whether that's Champion of the Parishes, sure. But also, the Student of Warfare is unassuming as they look. Just once you put 3 mana into them, they're 3/3 first strikes. But then they get pumped by your Benalish Marshals and your Knight Exemplars and all this stuff. And you have these Knight of the White Orchids to get you ahead on mana and Gideons. So that half of our deck, or really that 80% of our deck, is very good at sort of winning the creature battles, right? And that means, given that we can handle those decks, something like Ad Nauseam or Tron or something like that, or a control deck, a John type deck that just wants a one for one you forever. Those are the decks that Knights are going to have trouble with. But those are the decks where Blood Moon is great. And those are the decks where after sideboarding we get the Damping Spheres and the Stony Silences and all of these things that just make it really difficult for the decks that are good against our primary plan to win. And it really kind of balances itself out. Now, you can obviously have issues where you draw the wrong half of the deck and everything, etc. But you know what? For a brew here, we're brewing with Tribal Knights for fun. It kind of works out pretty well together. Anyways, there you go, everybody. Mighty Modern, I'm Corbin Hostler. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy these videos, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at chostler88. I love taking suggestions for future deck ideas. You can catch me at Grand Prix. I do a lot of coverage. I'll be at Grand Prix Minneapolis and the Pro Tour coming up doing coverage for Wizards of the Coast. So everyone, thanks for watching, and let's play some more Knights here. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Mighty Modern. This is a mulligan. However, this is a pretty sweet Knight Tribal deck here, and here you go. You can see it in action right here. I would like a Dauntless Bodyguard. This is not a bad mulligan for us. We are on the draw, however. All right, so I can lead with Student of Warfare. This is actually a pretty nice curve here. I can lead with Student of Warfare, play Dauntless Bodyguard to protect it. I mean, level it up once on turn 2 as well, but then curve into Knight Exemplar to give our creatures +1/+1 and indestructible, and it has first strike. Pretty powerful. All right, well, we won't be playing with Student Warfare this game. Fair enough. Let's see what our opponent's up to here. Farseek. Well, they're just playing Scapeshift, so we just need to kill him quickly here. Not doing ourselves damage also seems important. Ooh, Blood Moon seems very nice here. All right, this is great. So we get to play our Dauntless Bodyguard out here, and yeah, it's not going to protect anything, but that's fine. It's just a beatdown. It's just a clock. We get a fetch for Sacred Foundry, and the next turn we get to play Blood Moon, which will, if our opponent doesn't put a force into play here, it's going to be very good against them. And you know what? Stomping Ground is not a basic forest. This just might work. And then we either get to play our Knight Exemplar after that, or we get to follow up with Gideon, etc. Let's see what we draw here. There we go. It is going to be a Gideon on the following turn. Now, we could just still die to, you know, Primeval Titans or whatever, but... Okay, well, there's a Lightning Bolt. But here's a Blood Moon. Enjoy, friend. Alright, it's a lot of mountains they got. Now, we could die still. Ha, that Valakut doesn't do anything. Alright, and now we get to play Gideon onto an empty board. That feels pretty good. Yeah, this is why you play Blood Moon in this deck. And we're a Knight Stompy deck, and Blood Moon is sort of, you know, cheating in the sense that you get free wins off of it. But hey, you get free wins off of it. Our opponent has 6 mana in which they can do nothing. Alright, so what do I want to do with this? Do I want to make it a 5/5 indestructible? I don't know, probably. Just kill our opponent in a couple turns here. Not to mention we get to do all this. Yeah, that's right, friend. It is Knight Stompy. I guess our opponent could have double bolt. I think that still kills Gideon, but I think that's okay with us. This hand worked out very well. And keep in mind, our opponent had 2 removal spells here. I mean, they're playing Tier 1 Valakut deck. And they had 2 removals, 2 Lightning Bolts. This is a pretty perfect draw for them, except, oh, hey, Blood Moon and the beatdown. And this was pretty fast beatdown here. Gideon will do that. All right, look at that. Just stomping on all over Scapeshift there. All right, onto the sideboard. I'm not sure if this really gets any better for us, though. I assume it's better for them at this point. Damping Sphere doesn't seem very good. Wear and Tear doesn't seem very good. Mirror Crusaders don't seem very good. Recipes of Stony Silence are jokes. I mean, I could play Leylines, I guess. Do I want to? It protects us from getting... They still kill our board, which is still probably enough to kill us. That's the thing. Maybe not, though. Maybe they're better than Dismembers. I mean, Dismember doesn't do much. I mean, Leyline does very little, but Dismember doesn't... Dismember, we're basically hoping to snipe a Primeval Titan after they played it, at which point we're probably losing anyways. I think this is fine. I mean, our best card's clearly Blood Moon. They're going to have answers to it now, but hopefully we can just, you know, attack them really quick and end the game before any of that becomes too much of a problem. All right, here we go. Wow. 6-land Blood Moon. Blood Moon is pretty good. They mulliganed as well. It is possible we can just hose our opponent with this Blood Moon. That feels so greedy, though. All right, this is fine. This is a nice beatdown. Oh, absolutely. This is going to be a big champion of the parish. Now, I don't think that Leyline does anything except against, like, a Scapeshift Valakut kill. You know, I think that's essentially it, but... We'll make them have... They mulligan, so they might not have a hand with removal here. So I'm just going to play out the champion of the parish to see what happens. And, yeah, they fetch it with basic. That's the thing, is you can't... in games 2 and 3, you can't just try to rely on a Blood Moon to get you there. Alright, so that's the 4th land we need to cast anything in our deck. So now I'm just going to fetch to clear land out. As long as we're not at 18, we're fine. Now, this is going to be really risky here. And this is kind of, I mean, this is a big deal, and it's quite possibly going to be the game. But we're trying to dodge Anger the Gods. That's the thing I'm most scared of in this situation. But I think we just have to put our cards on the table and try to kill our opponent. And if they have it, they have it. Obviously, they have it. But the alternative is we play one Knight out there and level it, and it's just not much better, right? Like, it's fine. But it's a game really any different at that point? It costs us a point of damage, not just that turn, but the following turn. Ugh, okay. Well, I guess they can't attack. So we got that going for us. Well, it's a draw. I mean, it feels unlikely to me we're going to win this game at this point, but this is pretty close. And the thing is, to think about, if we were on the play, that Anger of the Gods wouldn't have been a problem. We would have played our Knight Exemplar into it, and they would have killed our Knight Exemplar and still been facing down all of that power. We need our opponent to have basically nothing here. This is Primeval Titan. I'd say it's GG. We could attack for a bunch otherwise. Yeah, Anger of the Gods is something, it was a known risk, and there was just nothing to do about it, really, in my opinion. And now our opponent's properly tapping for green, and there's Primeval Titan, so fun game, fun game. Yeah, turn 3 Anger into the Bloodbraid, turn 4 Primeval Titan, turn 5 is pretty difficult to beat. Alright. Oh, and cool, our opponent gets triggers off of him. Yeah, alright. That was fun. Alright, let's try again. I don't even know if I want these Leylines. I guess now that we know they have Bloodbraid Dismember is a little better. Thing is, none of them are good. I mean, is Crusade... I mean, heck, maybe Crusader's good to just try to kill him. Sure, we'll give this a shot. Alright, I'm into this hand. This seems pretty solid here. And our opponent mulliganed again. That helps. Although they mulliganed to 6 last game and had... I mean, I don't know what the best draw they can have is, but it was pretty darn close. This hand looks pretty great for us, though. I mean, we've got the Aether Vial. We've got the Valiant Knight later, given our Knight's Double Strike can be pretty good. But we also have Blood Moon. So we might, if our opponent doesn't have a basic forest, might be able to get him. And even if they do, we might be able to prevent the... I think I'm just going to Vial in this soldier and level it up. Because we know what we're doing next turn. If they have Lightning Bolt, they have Lightning Bolt, I guess. They obviously do. I mean, it's fine. I don't think it changes that much. I think you got to think about the upside and the downside, and consider that they're playing this super linear deck that could just destroy us or whatever, right? So I feel like we kind of have to take the risk, because if that works, it's 2 damage more next turn, because it's in which we're tapping out, right? So instead of attacking 1, we're attacking for 3, and then the turn after that we're playing this. So it would have amounted to 4 damage difference. So I think you have to... I'm actually going to keep this on 1 right here. No luck, but... Yeah, I mean, it was a 4 damage difference that way. And look, with what they did anyways, they were going to have the... they were going to have the Lightning Bolt no matter what. I mean, it actually didn't make any difference at all. But I think our play was correct, because the upside was just so much higher to attack them for so much more damage. However, we did do this. We have Blood Moon to our opponent here. Same thing, I'm going to keep this on 1, because we tapped out last turn, and there's more 1-drops in our deck than 3-drops. And certainly more than 2-drops. And this turn, we're going to tap out again for this Lightning Bolt-proof Valiant Knight. But I want to be able to play out another one, if so. And then next turn, it doesn't matter, because we'll have the mana to play, in theory, whatever we draw. And see, look at that. It worked out. Alright, so we'll play our Champion of the Parish here. Now, the Valiant Knight actually doesn't pump it for being a knight. It is the only non-knight creature in our deck. However, it does pump it because it's a human, so that's still fine. And you know what? That's 5 damage in play, and that kills our opponent in 4 turns. So that's pretty key. And if our opponent can't find basic forest here, roast. Okay. All right, this is where we would like to draw some creatures, please. Yep. Well, we're going to give our opponent all day to get out of this. Deck doesn't want to cooperate too much. I mean, we've drawn 3 creatures. But if our opponent is just stranded on mana, it might work. Yeah, my opponent says, I did not expect you to be a Blood Moon deck in game 1. Well, I don't blame you, man. And he can't play around at this game. But you know what? The thing is, we're doing nothing here. We're flooding out. They hit the forest, so our opponent says, phew. Alright, we lose. Fair enough. There's nothing you can do about that. We got magicked pretty hard in this one. Yeah, right on time. Well, this isn't even worth it. Our opponent... Yeah. Well, our opponent gets to fetch out a forest here. So the thing is, this might still be okay. I mean, maybe I should have vialed in the Marshal at the end. I should have vialed in the Marshal, but... Now they can play their Primeval Titan, but they get 2 mountains, and it only puts them up to 5 mountains if they don't have a land drop here. And they don't actually get to shoot our creatures down. And then we might get to beat the Primeval... Oh, they have Bloodbraid. Into the Dream. Well, yeah, I guess I got punished there. I mean, this has been very unlucky. We should have, I mean, we had to draw pretty horrendously to lose this one, I think. And our opponent ripped basic forest off the top. They probably only have, like, you know what, I'd guess 2 or 3 in the deck, so I don't I mean, I could have made a couple slightly different plays, right? I could have not run out the Student of Warfare earlier. I could have not played my Benalish Marshal. Don't think it's going to make much of a difference, though. Opponent still has 16 life. Yep, there's the bolt. They just don't have anything? Or they just have all removal? Alright, exactly what I wanted when I wanted it. This would have been so good. Any of those like 4 turns that we whiffed. We could have protected our creatures. Alright, this gets them another mountain, and now the Primeval Titan they play gets to go get 2 mountains, and they don't get damaged because the Valakut's just a mountain, but just having a 6/6 will win the game at this point. And there's the Rex Sage to kill our Blood Moon. Yeah, we had a window. We had a window. We did exactly what we wanted in game 1. We got him with the Blood Moon, and we had a window to win this one, but now we have died. All right, everyone. That's the way it goes sometimes. You can see how close it was, though. It was very close. We almost got there. Anyways, everybody, thank you for watching. I'm Corbin Hostler. This is Mining Modern. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Mining Modern. I'm Corbin Hostler, and this is Knight Stompy here. I teased it a while back. I did Soldier Stompy in Modern. We know, of course, humans exist in Modern, and I just realized there's so many Knights that I like. I want to play with History of Benalia. I want to play with Knight Exemplar. Makes all your Knights indestructible. That's some really powerful stuff. And there you go. We get to draw it right here. So that's our deck this time around, and this deck is pretty fun here. We got Aether Vials, of course. Now, I understand Champion of the Parish is a soldier and not a knight, but it's just too good not to play. All of our Knights, except for basically the Knight History of Benalia tokens are humans anyway, so it's still true as champion of the parish. Now, we're not going the whole humans route. We don't really have the package. There's no lieutenants or Thalia, Guardian of Thravens, anything like that. And that's all fine. What we do have are some pretty awesome knights here all around. Now, our opponent, however, won the dice roll, and that seems pretty key since they're playing Zoo and have a heck of a hand here. Aether Vial, huh? Okay. Well, this is pretty scary. We're going to have to try to... If we'd won the dice roll, it'd be much different here. Alright, well, it's a lot of options. A whole bunch of options, to be honest. Do I really want to pay 6 life this turn to kill the Experiment 1? I kind of think I have to. This feels so bad. I mean, I've got a plan, though. We're down to 9. We'll see if our opponent has something to kick here, you know, a bushwhacker of some sort. If we don't die, though, we get to vial in the Dauntless Bodyguard. Grow our champion of the pair. Let's see what do we hit a land here? We hit a Knight Exemplar, huh? Okay. So I'm going to put in the Dauntless Bodyguard. It will grow the champion of the parish. I will block both. I will sacrifice the Dauntless Bodyguard. And then I will use my champion to take out the Goblin Guide here. And then we can play these other creatures out of our hand to grow the champion of the parish and hopefully be stabilized here at 9 life. That's the plan. Obviously, my opponent could have cards. I mean, they're going to have lightning bolts and stuff in their deck. But, hey, we get to move to blocks at least, so that's something here. And let's see what they do now we've declared block free. So at the minimum, we're not taking any damage this turn from these creatures, as far as I know. And if we're lucky, and our opponent just has more creatures... Okay, looks like it might work here. We had to take Goblin Guide off the field. They have a Curd Ape still, but we have stabilized the board at 9 life. Our hand is not very good, but... Voltaic Brawler. Does that get trample? Uh-oh. That's not bad. So we know we're drawing a 3-drop here, so I need to take this up. Alright, so I'll play Champion of the Parish out. Well, we'll see what happens here. Our opponent still has a lot of cards in hand, and that's still... I mean, that's the worst thing for us. These Knight Exemplars are very powerful, but... Even if I'm able to eat the Curd Ape with this one Champion of the Parish here... Let's see if they do this. I might even make this block, just to try to trade with Voltaic Brawler. It's that or take 4, go to 5. This has trample, so... I mean, maybe it's better to go to 5? If I put the 3/3 in front of the Curd Ape, and I just say I'm going to take 5, or 4, I go to 5... Then I'm still dead to the 2 lightning bolts, just like I would be if I traded here, because I'd be taking 3 and going to 6. I could chump block, but that just puts me to 6, since that doesn't do much. I mean, I think this is the play. We can't beat many things from our opponent. Now, if these Knight Exemplars are going to be very, very, very good at stabilizing the board here, but we've got to get there. Now, our opponent does have a spell. Atarka's Command. Well, that was unbeatable. We need to hit a land, I think. The Atarka's Command was pretty good there. Blood Moon would have been good. Not so much, though. Well, this hand did not quite work out. It was very close. Our opponent had to have some pretty good cards, which they did. And more importantly, they won the dice roll, because if we'd won the dice roll, this game wouldn't even been close. But that's just magic. We'll see. The problem with this stupid thing is it only takes 1, and then it gets trample, and then we just die here. And that just has haste anyways. Alright, we're dead. All right, fair enough. On to game 2 here. Our opponent had a pretty good draw there. Well, these are going to be good, right? Protection from black and green. Certainly not bad. And they have first strike in the first place. The Blood Moons seem pretty bad here, but we don't necessarily have a lot better. I think our deck is actually finding us, and we have all kinds of first strike creatures. We have creatures that get really big. We can flood the board. You know, I actually think our deck is set up reasonably well against them if we don't just get overrun like we did there. I mean, like I said, if we win the dice roll, I don't think we can lose that game. We would have had big champion of the parishes. We would have had Knight Exemplars in play in response to that Atarka's command. It's been an entirely different game. So I don't really think that there's too much to take from that. Yeah, this is a keep. This hand looks pretty decent. We're not going to get value off Knight of the White Orchid, but that's fine. Like I said, you don't have to get an extra land out of the card. The card is just fine otherwise. It fits the theme. It's a human knight. It'll grow our champion of the parish. It's a 2/2 first striker, which stares down a lot of the creatures our opponent could have. And then we get to curve that into a Mirror Crusader on 3, which will have protection from some of the creatures in their deck. Is it a Goblin? It's a Experiment 1. All right. That is probably the... I mean, it's a very good 1-drop for them, but it's also just fine for us. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and play the Knight of the White Orchid here. The thing is, there's no guarantee our opponent's even going to get to 3 lands for us to even be able to try to get value off of it multiple turns from now. I actually think I'm going to get aggressive and attack here. Because either my opponent is able to make their Experiment 1 a 3/3, in which case I'm not blocking anyways, or the Knight of the White Orchid's got it under control. And our opponent does seem to do themselves a lot of damage with their mana base. At least has a possibility to. So getting aggressive is not the worst strategy, especially with this Dismember to back it up. All right, 1 green here. Let's see what they've got. A Dryad Militant. Yeah, this is just really red-green zoo. I like it. All right, that'll evolve that thing up to a 2/2. We'll see if they make it a 3/3. They have Flame Slash. Okay. Well, that's fine. They can't attack. Another Student of Warfare, huh? Well, I could do all of those things, but instead I think I'm just going to play this Mirror Crusader and tell our opponent to have fun. It's your turn. So the thing is here, yeah, it just dies a Lightning Bolt, sure, right? It's not like it's the end of the world. It's the best card ever. They can't beat it. But we do have 2 first striking creatures in play now, one of which has protection from green. So that seems pretty difficult for our opponent to get through here. They could bolt our Crusader, and then, you know, maybe have another creature and get through the Experiment 1 at least or something. Voltaic Brawler seems pretty good in this deck. I mean, this is kind of scary. Now, if they can't kill Mirror Crusader, it doesn't really matter how big the Experiment 1 is, but Voltaic Brawler is pretty good. Mirror Crusader seems MVP for us here. I can also level up the Student of Warfare to a 3/3 first striker and just put up a wall that our opponent's going to have a very difficult time to get through. And I think that's what I'm going to do. You know what? It might actually be worth holding the other student and keeping up Dismember here. I think that's what I'm going to do. I mean, we're kind of well, maybe. On the other hand, we're telegraphing it, but yeah, I'll just play this. Why not? I don't want to telegraph the Dismember, because if they have a combat trick, we have 18 life. We have creatures with protection. We can just throw so many first striking creatures in front of whatever creature we want to kill that it probably doesn't... And Target's command is not really that scary, right? They can make their Voltaic Brawler a 5/4 and it's still going to get first struck out of the game. This is the kind of board where I want to draw Knight Exemplar now. Just have all these first striking creatures be indestructible on top of it all. But yeah, our opponent needs something pretty good here to get through this, because we can also just level our student. Oh, well, here we go. This is an odd attack. Let's see if they pay. Sure, they paid. So, but what happens if I just throw 7 first strike in front of it? I'm not sure if I can get blown out here or not, but I'm willing to find out. I mean, I could have also just put the Mirran Crusader in front of it, played a little safer, but I want this thing off the board. Trample's scary. Also just kind of like want to call, you know? Like my opponent is bluffing something by attacking. I just want to know what it is. I mean, does whatever trick you're planning on beat 7 first strike power? It might, but we'll see. I mean, they're going to cast Become Immense or something? I guess that would be pretty decent. Give their thing 9. It would still die. Gore Clan Rampager. Yep, that makes sense. Okay. Gore Clan Rampager, by the way, red-green discarded its Blood Rush. Target attacking creature gets +4/+4 and trample until end of turn. Very, very powerful. And we take 7 there from the Experiment 1, but yeah, that's our opponent's trick. This is really just an old school red-green zoo deck. I like it. Another Voltaic Brawler. Okay. I do think I'm going to need to get a little frisky here at some point attacking, but we'll see what we draw. And we draw a land. Okay. Well, I could play this land and make this thing a 4/4 double striker in attack. As a matter of fact, I could do that, attack with both these, and then my opponent's forced to chump block. Then they lose this, and then they have to kill us with these two things with one card in their hand? That seems fairly unlikely. I could also just dismember. It's similar, I guess. If I just dismembered... The question is, do we think we die to them having 2 creatures when we have 2 blockers? That is the question. Yeah, maybe it's just greedy to attack. The thing is, too, with these level up creatures, we're advantaged by just playing draw go with it. Now we get a pass with Dismember up. Yeah, there's no reason to attack here. You can only level as a sorcery, right? Yeah, okay. You can only level up as a sorcery. Student of Warfare, by the way, I know why people don't play it. It's obviously you sink a lot of mana into it, and the payoff's just not necessarily that good. You get a creature that just trades with a Gurmag Angler by the end of your 10 mana or whatever, your 8 mana you put into it. So that is a thing, but in this deck, it's actually pretty nice, and it's great in these board stalls. All right, let's see what my opponent wants to do this time. I am definitely leveling up this Student of Warfare to 7 next turn and attacking with the Double Striker. Rancor, huh? Do I let that resolve, or do I dismember in response? It's my opponent's last card. I think I just dismember. Put it in their graveyard. This way the Rancor doesn't come back, because it is countered upon resolution rather than going to the graveyard from play, so it doesn't go back into their hand. Yeah, this seems pretty bad for them. All right. I played out my land. Maybe it doesn't matter. I mean, I don't think it really matters here. My opponent can't really afford to play around anything. Yeah, I think I just attack with this. It still leaves me plenty of defense here. Yeah, they're going to regenerate their Experiment 1, sure. No, they shouldn't let it go. Well, sure. You know, I guess we're not completely out of the woods here, right? If they draw Gore Clan Rampager? Fair enough, they didn't. Could they have actually killed us, though? They pay the 2 energy. These are both 4/3s. And... Oh, no, I just... Well, yeah, they would have got in for 8. Could have got in for 4 that way? Yeah, they wouldn't have got there. Close, though. All right, now the hard part. Winning one on the play, that's easy. Winning one on the draw, much more difficult. Especially... Ugh. I don't think we're very well set up for this. Well, Aether Vial is what I needed. And Student of Warfare. I don't think I can mulligan this hand. I mean, who knows? Maybe the Blood Moon will even be good. I don't think so, but maybe. Looks like my opponent mulligan, so maybe we actually caught a break here. Because I don't think that we're favored on the draw here. I think we're hugely favored on the play, but not quite so much on the draw. Let's see what my opponent has on the first turn. I get to go Vial, and then the turn after that, I get to go Student of Warfare plus Dauntless Bodyguard, which is reasonable. Ooh, Dubs Dauntless Bodyguards even. Having to deal ourselves damage with our mana is ideal, but this might work out if we can just throw enough things in the way of our opponent's creatures before we get overrun. We can then try to get, you know, the first striking crew down onto the board. Oh gosh, Goblin Guide though. That's a good mold of 6 for our opponent. Oh no, there's more. Jeez. Yeah, alright. Come on in for 4, buddy. Do I get to draw a land at least? Blood Moon, huh? That's a terrible card to have on top. In fact, the worst. The only card in our deck that does nothing. Well, you know what? Drawing this other 1-drop here was actually going to end up working out just fine, because we're going to have to dismember something here. In fact, I can Dauntless Bodyguard to protect Dauntless Bodyguard. This might actually work out. The question is, do I want to play Student of Warfare? I actually, instead of Dismember, I actually think I do, because it will trade with the Dryad Militant just as a 1/1, and it's probably fine. Like I said, this game is just all about keeping our opponent's creatures off the board. So we're going to take a lot of damage on this turn, though. It's going to be ugly. And these Blood Moons are actually just uncastable because we haven't been able to fetch for a red source. Although they would lock our opponent out of green mana at this point. Alright, well, this is a big turn. Let's see what our opponent has here. They have 2 cards in hand, and this is all going to come down to how good those 2 cards are. And now Blood Moon does nothing anyways. 2 mana for Flint Hoof Boar. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good. They have 1 card left. Well, at least... Okay, at least it means we're going to get to do damage. We're actually going to get to take something off the board for relatively free this turn. In fact, they come in with a team that actually might work out okay. Problem is our hand doesn't do anything. And we hit a land. Not a land I want to... I mean, it's a land. Alright, so we Dauntless Bodyguard to protect our other Dauntless Bodyguard. I think. Or I could protect Student of Warfare. With the plan of leveling it up twice? Yuck. Maybe? I guess it kind of works out the same. We don't know what we're going to draw. I can trade 1 Dauntless Bodyguard for Goblin Guide, put the other in front of the Flint Hoof Boar, protect the Student of Warfare, trade with the Dryad Militant. That passes the turn back to us, having taken 3 damage, being at 11, having a Student of Warfare in play against a Flint Hoof Boar in Experiment 1, but we could at least level it up twice and give it first strike if we don't draw anything better. I think that's better. Since the alternative is the same thing, except we keep around a 2/1. I mean, none of this is good for us, but I think this is as good as it's going to get. I could also not block this. Doesn't really do anything since everything they're going to have after this is 3 power anyways. And I want to just protect my life total so I can dismember if I need to. Which I probably will need to. But I can actually see some ways. I can see some ways in which we can dig out of this. Let's see if we can hit something off the top of our deck here. It's interesting because I actually don't want to tick up to 2 is the least amount of creatures we have, but 3 is a lot. So, but we also have a lot of 1s, and we've drawn 3 1s already. I think I tick it up because I want to have it on 3 next turn. Only slightly punished. Oh no. I think it was correct to tick it up. we have so many choices here. Hey, I could Blood Moon them. These Blood Moons are only in the deck because we had nothing better to bring in. I could shock myself, level twice, hold up Dismember. I think that's the best bet. It's horrendously obvious what we have, but I mean, it doesn't mean it won't work. Now, our opponent only has one card in hand. Now, the worst thing that could happen to us, I mean, there's so many. We're in a lot of trouble here. We need our opponent to have nothing and be scared of attacking. That was not nothing. That was the perfect card. Oh, they have more? Man, so we're just dead. Oh, they can't give it haste. Oh, they don't need it. It's a goblin. That was so close. I think I took the right line. And the thing is, I can kill this. So, alternatively, I could have... I mean, I could have had a 1-1 here. The 1-1 could have jumped in front of the Flint Hoof Boar. We could have dismembered the Experiment 1. And I think we're still dead, though, is the thing. I think we took the line that actually gave us a shot of winning the game. And they basically had to have exactly this. I mean, they're out of cards in their hand. They needed a haste creature. I mean, I say that. We may not have been able to beat the haste creature, even if it wasn't haste creature. Even if it was just a Curt Ape, we might have still died to it. But, you know, I could... If they hadn't had exactly that, if they draw on land or something, if we lose our creature there, I dismember, I go to... I mean, I end up at 2, but we get another turn. Oh, well. That was a very close game. We weren't really going to draw out of it either. We got super punished by those Blood Moons. Our opening hand was good, but we didn't have enough things to board out, and we got pretty unlucky to draw 2 of the 2.